Hi, this is Seamless, and this is the third video in a series of videos that it's apparently a series now of doing a particular kind of phase distortion wobble and using various plugins. I had done it in Harmor, and I've done it in Citrus, and now I'm going to do it in 3x OSC. It was asked primarily as a joke, but I thought about it and realized that there's actually a way that this can be done. So, what we're doing right now is mimicking what Harmor does using its detune function. So, and detune, what it does is that it moves the partials away from the fundamental, and that causes a discrepancy in the overall tone, which is manifested in a bit of a sort of phasey wobble, wob kind of modulation. So let's observe what I mean by that. That's the pitch that is modulated, not the detune, because I'm a smart person. So right there, we heard the result of what we're doing with that. Now watch the partials as I move around the detune. That's more or less what's going on there. So in order to recreate this, in Citrus, we utilized the harmonic partial internal additive thingy that you can do with the OSC tab, and we had to resynthesize a square wave, and then I took away the primary, the fundamental, to create only the rest of the partials up against a fundamental on its own, and then I detuned the non-fundamental harmonics in its own separate operator and did cool things. So now we're going to do that with 3x OSC in a bit of a kind of a roundabout way. So what I've done here is I've routed 3x OSC into the square wave. I've routed it into a channel with an Edison. I'm going to record an instance of the square wave. After I've done that, I'm going to right click, go to Tools, and hit Center, because if you don't and you try cutting it up, which I'm about to do, it will do screwy things. So what I'm doing right now is I want to isolate a single cycle of the square wave. You could probably also just get a square wave waveform. I mean, it's not terribly hard to come by. All right. So now that we have this, I'm going to name it something useful, like square wave. I'm going to drop it into shapes because that feels like a reasonable folder. And now I'm going to drop that into the sample section of 3x OSC. So now that I've done that, I can select it by hitting the question mark button, which loads the sample that you have loaded in the thingy. So now that I've done that, I totally forgot the point of recording in Edison. So what we're doing while we're putting it in Edison is because we can go to Tools and go to Equalize, and then we can just cut out the fundamental frequency out of the equalization inside Edison. As you can see, I've already done this to ensure that this worked. And then we get this shape. So now I'm going to drag this square wave 2 because I'm the most efficient person ever. Open it up, square wave 2, ta-da. All right, too low. So now here's a sine wave, which, much like the citrus example, will be the fundamental of the frequency here. All right. So this volume here is the volume between 2 and 1. So now that we have that, we can then detune oscillator 1, which is the non-fundamental harmonics. You can't really hear anything as we're doing it now, because it's also really quiet. All right, but the differences will become very apparent when we go to distort it. And there we go. That's the basic, the same basic idea that we achieved with the Citrus and also Harmor. Obviously, we won't really have the same kind of power and control that we did over citrus or Harbor, especially Harbor. But um, this is a pretty good starting place for a sound that might be cool. Good times. I hope that was helpful for you. If because you want to do this kind of thing, but you don't have citrus or Harmor, and now you can do that with 3x OSC. Because as we have basically demonstrated 3 times over, the reason why this kind of sound happens is because the fundamental frequency is detuned up against the rest of the frequencies in the sound that you're using, and that creates the kind of phase cancellation that makes the movement that we're used to hearing out of this sound. So that's what that is. Have a good day.